Yep. What is going on, guys? It's Will back with another video. So last time we talked about Roth IRAs. Um, I got a decent amount of feedback in Telegram and Instagram asking me questions. So like where to invest, etc. So I'm not gonna be telling you where to invest. I'm gonna go through like the top 20 with you guys live. I haven't looked at all these, so it's going to be a longer video, but I'm going to look through them all with you. Like, we're probably going to go to the 100 most popular. Oh, these are the stocks. So 20 most popular ETFs, and we're just going to run through them. And I'm going to kind of tell you, I'm not going to tell you, but I'm just going to look through them, and we're going to talk about them. All right, so let's start at number one. So this is the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF. This functions off the S&P 500. If you don't know what the S&P 500 is, it is the top 500 market cap companies in the New York Stock Exchange. But this is an ETF, so they have holdings of what they own. This is diversified here. As we can see, these are different sectors here. We're more into technology, and then we kind of very heavily into technology, and then we kind of split up into financial services, healthcare, consumer, communication services, industrials, and then we start kind of trimming away. I like this right here, real estate being low, just my personal opinion. I think the technology sector is very strong, and we're just going to keep growing because of AI. So if you scroll down a little bit, on your app, it might be a little different. This is the Robinhood broker, by the way. So each broker is different, compared to what they're trying to show you. But I'm just going to be doing Robinhood's top 20. So these are going to be your top 10 holdings. So as you can see, they have the names of the stock, the tickers of the stock. This is how you search up the stock on the stock market. And then this is the percentage they own of the stock and where it's diversified. So they're heavily invested into Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia. Those are their top three, with all holding above 6%. Amazon, Meta, and Google next, which I do like. Berkshire, Broadcom, and Tesla. I do like a little bit of Tesla, not super much. And obviously these are open to change too. They can get rid of these companies if you didn't know that. Overall, and then something else you really want to be looking at is your 30-day yield. This would be your dividend return on 30 days, 1.26%. So that's something you want to look at. It's very important. If you scroll down, you see your average annual return. So 1 year, it's returned 27%. On the 3-year average, it's returned 9%. 5-year, 15%. 10-year, 12%. And since September 7th, 2010, 14.52%. This is why we get the average rate of the S&P 500 being around 12 to 13%, is because of this right here, if you did not know that. So overall, I think it's good. Check this one off. I like this one. I do own it myself individually, and I own it individually just because I do like to trade this. I like to buy the dip on this. I have similar ones to in my Robinhood account, or my Roth IRA account. The next one is the SPDR S&P 500. This is the same. They're not all the same, but they're similar. So as we can see, they're more invested into Apple. So, each one has its own. Like the last one had Tesla in it at a 1.2%. This one has Broadcom instead. The 30-day yield on this one is 1.18%, which I like. And our 10-year on this is 12.88%. So you can see it's very similar to the last one. This one, check off. All right, next one. And just keep in mind, I've never looked through all these, so I'm just running through this with you guys. I don't even know what this, I don't even know what this is, but this is Vanguard, obviously. FTSE Emerging Markets Fund. The max chart, it doesn't look good to me, in my opinion. My guess, this is not even invested in technology, but it doesn't look good to me, the chart at least, unless they pay a good yield on dividend. That's the only way I would get into this. Maybe this is real estate here. It's financial services. 20% technology, 20% financial services. It's not terrible, but let's see what they're holding here. I don't know this one. I don't know. Alibaba, yeah. 1%. Okay, so these are low percentages on these companies, but this looks... Okay, so this looks like it's Chinese related, actually. Okay, yeah, okay. Alright, so this ETF actually looks like its holdings are all Chinese companies. Taiwan, Alibaba, Hanhai, China Construction Bank. And there's no 30-day yield on this. I got out of this one too. I'm pretty sure that's why. Okay, I got out of this one too. Yeah, stay out of this one right here, okay? Unless you're gonna trade it yearly, 1%, 14%, you're basically playing with the China market, it seems like. But yeah, as we look at the 10-year, it's averaged 2.71%. If you want to average 3% if you want to average 3% on your money, it's going to take you 24 years to double. Stay away. This is going to be a no for me. I don't like this one. This one's going to be a no. The yearly looks nice, though. The yearly does look nice. If you got in there, I would think it's time to get out, though. But this one's going to be a no for me, guys. I don't like that one. Okay, this is VIA. Okay, this one I have myself, and I'm pretty sure this one is the one I want to get out of. I'm almost positive. Okay, no. Okay. Alright, so this one, I thought it was similar to the last one. It's not, though. I've returned 9% so far, which isn't bad, but I want that 12%. Like, there's no fucking around, okay? I want that 12%. I even want 15 to 20%, okay? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for these big numbers. Financial service industrials, so we flipped away from technology into this one. Technology is the third highest in here, which I'm okay with. But here we have Novo, ASML, Samsung. I like Samsung. You know, I think it's going to stay alive. Shell, Toyota. So, relatively, it's decent here. There's no 30-day yield on it, but it's more of a growth. For the 1 year, we've averaged 18%. For the 10-year, we've averaged 5.37%. The 1 year looks very strong. Look at this. Very, very strong. I want to see how we react at this 52 level, which we're at right now. If we can get through this 52 level, I'll hold. I'll hold this. If we start to pull back somewhere in the 50s, I'll probably get out of this, most likely. Yeah, I'll probably get out of this if we pull back in the 50s. I'll stay away. I would stay away from this one now just because it's high. Our next one we are going to be talking about is Vanguard Total Bond Market ETF, which has to do with bonds, I would assume. Okay. Oh, this is all bonds. Beautiful. Okay, so this ETF right here is just focused on bonds. The 30-day yield on it is a 4.16%. If you don't know what bonds are, There are different types of bonds. There are government bonds, corporate bonds, and securitized bonds, and then municipal bonds. So generally speaking, for example, what the market likes to do is smart money flows from the stock market into bonds and treasuries. So it's like think of it as a teeter-totter. One side you have sorry, somebody just texted me. One side you have the stocks. You have the stock side, and the other side you have your bonds, your treasury bills, your government notes, all that stuff. It's like a teeter-totter. Smart money just flows from one side to the other, depending on interest rates. It's a big thing on it. If you have any questions about it, feel free to ask me. But all the multimillionaires flow from stock market to bonds. So, for example, when COVID hit, right? And rates were fucking flying through the moon. The markets were pulling back, but bonds were going up. And now the stock market is reaching all-time highs. So guess what's happening to bonds? They're going lower and they're returning less of an interest rate. And they also flip interest rates. They give higher interest rates on bonds when they want to push them more. So this is why we see this. This is the COVID crash right here, by the way, if you didn't know. Smart money moved into here because we kind of weren't sure where the market, like if we were going to bounce, we weren't sure where the market was headed after the crash came. So smart money flew into the bonds, and then we saw where we were going. So smart money came out and went back into the stock market. There's your little bond and stock tip for the day. Bond investors aren't waiting for rate cuts. Rate cuts are very important too. Would I tell you to invest in this? Absolutely fucking not. This is for wealthy people. Bonds are just for wealthy people. For your kid, not bad, but I think there's other ways you can go about it. You can do something called an UGMA account. We'll get into that a different time, or if you have any questions, you could hit me up. But I would just stay away from bonds, to be honest. Not a fan of them, unless you're a multimillionaire. Why not, right? Fuck it, you have multi-millions anyway. Alright, so note of this, the Vanguard Total Bond Market. I will stay away from that. Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF. Looks very similar to the S&P 500. Okay, this fluctuates with the S&P 500, so it's going to be technology invested, which it is. See, it's nice when you could look at a chart and just, this looks like the S&P 500 or what stock it looks like. Heavily invested in Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, Meta, Google, Berkshire, Broadcom, Eli Lilly. 30-day yield 1.25, and the return is 12.32% on the 10-year. I give this a check. I like this one because it follows. All right, that was the Vanguard Total. Okay, so now we're going to talk about iShare Core, S&P 500. S&P 500, COVID crash. This is the S&P 500. Technology invested, same thing. Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, blah, blah, blah. All the same. They kind of just move their percentages around with different stocks below these 1%. So that's kind of the big thing. 30-day yield 1.27%, and I guess this returned probably 14% on the 10-year. Okay, so 13%. Same thing as the other one. I give this one a check. But make sure you don't want, right? You could have one or two of these ETFs in the S&P 500, but you don't want all of them in the S&P 500. That's not the smart thing to do. I mean, yes, annually it's returned that much, but you kind of want to just in case, right? You never know, because what if the technology sector absolutely tanks for fucking 10 years? What if AI goes fucking crazy and robots go crazy and just fuck everything up? I'm just fucking around, but on a serious note, what happens if the technology sector just dwindles and, I don't know, healthcare takes over, something else just takes over? That's just my opinion. You want to be diversified in your retirement plan. Invesco QQQ. Yeah, we love this one. S&P 500. heavily technology based, heavily technology based, heavily Apple based, Microsoft, Nvidia, Broadcom, Meta. This is all technology. All technology. 30-day yield 0.58. The reason why they're giving you a lower yield is because the growth. Look at this growth right here, 17.8%. Average on the 10-year. Average on the 10-year. Average. Just this year alone, 26.87%. Come on. What are we doing? Right? Buy that one. Don't buy that one. Invesco, S&P 500. All right, this one's probably fat technology. Yes, another fat technology. 50% in technology. Nvidia, 11%. Nvidia's been hitting all-time highs besides the earnings. Nvidia's been hitting all-time highs like every fucking day besides obviously this little crash that we had. 30-day yield 0.42, but it's okay. This is growth, all growth. They don't give the 10-year here because we haven't had it for 10 years. We've only had it since 2015. But on the 5-year, it's 18.67%. Look at this 1-year return, guys. This 1-year return is 54%. 54 fucking percent in a retirement account. 54 fucking percent, guys, in a retirement account. Even if this shit tanks 40%, you're still up 10%. Fucking insane. All time 55%. This looks good for me. Buy that. Alright. Which Invesco. We did Invesco. Okay, small cap. Small cap. This is the little 2000 incident. I got out of this. I was in it, I think, around here, maybe somewhere here, and I got out of it. Personally, for me, it was a little too broad and a little bit lower on the technology side, which I'm not a fan of. Not to mention it's small cap, which means most of these companies, we won't even know. The 30-day yield's a 1.63, so it's not bad. But the rate hasn't been bad for 10 years. 9.3%, that's not bad. The only problem with small caps, it's kind of like hit or miss, you know. Nvidia used to be a small cap, you know, so I mean, it is what it is. You know, sometimes this hits, sometimes it doesn't. This one I'm on the fence about. Yes/no. Yes/no. I think it's a great buy to come back up to these 160s. Yes and no. It's just, see, the problem with this is just not, if the technology was number 2 in here, yeah, and also I don't like real estate being at 9%. That's just my opinion. I like real estate being under 5%. Just my own personal opinion. Obviously, to each its own. That's just me. So on the fence about this. Yeah, no. I'm in the middle with that one. Let's go to the Vanguard Russell 1000 growth. This is probably the top 1000 companies, I would assume. Heavily technology-based. Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, nice, beautiful, Amazon, Meta. Yeah, these are all just technology. Your annual return, or your 30-day yield will be 0.51. So this one actually has a little bit more of a 30-day yield than the other ones that are heavily technology-based. But you are taking a little bit of a percentage cut according to the 10-year. But dude, just look at this 1 year, 30.56%. That's fucking just nasty, bro. 30.56%. Right here, October 26th of 2023, $66 to $94. Nasty. And not to mention it top probably close to 100. Very close. Buy. Where am I? Schwab. I didn't, it's crazy because I didn't even know this one was actually on the top 20 list. I actually found this myself through somebody who told me about it, so I did my research on it. I'll tell you this one. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. So it is very broad, very, very broad, but, right, it is broad. It is less than the technology sector. But I like BlackRock being at 4%. I like Coca-Cola being 4%. I like Home Depot 4%. Texas Instruments 4%. Verizon 3.6%. I like this. I like those, and I also like this. Who doesn't like a 3.63 30-day yield? I do. Look at this. I have $9 get paid to me in dividend, and how much do I own? I own $1,000 in this, and it's paying me $9. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's just extra money that it's just compounding itself. Later on, it'll be worth a lot. The 10 years 11% too, which is my strike price. I'm looking for this 12%. So this is why I'm invested in this. Plus, with this fat 3.63, I'm not sure what compound interest this is calculated on for yielding as dividend. But it's definitely not calculated on the 3.63. I'll tell you that. It's probably maybe like a 0.5, somewhere on there. Yeah, so that's why I like it. But most of my portfolios here, at least more of it, 20%, just because of that nice 30-day yield. Let's go next one. We're going to talk about ARK Innovation ETF. This one, I will tell you, no. I'm not a fan of it. The reason being is, yes, we look good in the technology sector. I'm not too big of a fan of healthcare sector as well. I mean, it's always going to be here, but there's really no growth, quote unquote growth in the healthcare sector besides that COVID crash, and we had that. I'm not going to go into detail on it, but we had a lot of those healthcare stocks pumped through the fucking moon. We don't talk about that, but let's talk about the stocks itself. Tesla being owned 13%. Look, I mean, if you see yourself at 59.5 and Tesla still being relevant, or electric cars still being relevant, that's your call. Me, I think I'm going to take my risk and stick with Nvidia and Microsoft and Google. Tesla's still a new company, guys. Like, a newer company. It's still a newer company. Electric cars is still newer. And we've, it's the research is done on it. It's not healthy for the environment, as you can see with the batteries. But we're not going to get into detail on it. I still love Tesla as a stock, as a company. I just don't see it as retirement worthy. I see it as a great 10-year stock. Maybe 10 years is kind of pushing it for me, too, to be honest with you. I think it's a great stock to invest now. I don't know about long term. Coinbase, do you really want your retirement portfolio on a crypto exchange? How many crypto exchanges have filed for Chapter 7s when Bitcoins crash? A lot. I mean, yeah, Coinbase is the biggest one, but do you want your retirement account based on a crypto exchange? Not me. Roblox? Roblox? Are you fucking kidding me? In an investment retirement account, Roblox. Okay, that's all I gotta say about this one. Not to mention, good job. 30-day yield looks fucking phenomenal. You absolutely get nothing. Let's look at that. I mean, the average return since 2014, 9.43. I mean, it's not terrible. It's not the best. It's decent. 9.43. It's decent. 3-year, 28.19%. And you know why? This looks just like fucking Tesla, guys. All-time high on Tesla. Tesla splits. What happened after the split? Boom, came down. And then Tesla's been in a downward motion ever since. Not to mention if, like, having 13% is kind of crazy, and then having 7%. I think the more important thing that kind of turns me away from this is Coinbase and Roblox being in here. If these two weren't in here, I wouldn't, unless of Tesla, maybe like a 5% in Tesla. Maybe then it'd be a little different, but for me, I'm gonna give it a no, guys. I'm gonna give it a no on here. All right. Let's go with the next one. Vanguard High Dividend Yield ETF. Okay, this is just S&P 500. It looks like... Oh, no, I'm completely wrong. Okay. It looked like it. High dividend yield. So, according to this, you're about to get fucking stacked with dividend. Let's check. 2.71%. So, I still think SCHD is better. But let's take a look at the sectors. Financial services, consumer defensive, technology, healthcare. Good. I like the sectors, especially for when you start playing with dividends, you got to get out of the technology sector just because a lot of these technology sectors don't pay dividend. That's why you're stepping away. You're taking like a step away from technology and a little bit of growth, and you're kind of moving into other things. So Broadcom, JP Morgan, Exxon, Johnson Johnson, Home Depot, Walmart, Bank of America. I like this. 30-day yield, 2.71%. I like this. The 10-year, 9.93%. So just as we saw before, that Tesla ETF, we're just going to call it Tesla ETF, was what, like a 9 something? Or 8 something? But you were getting a 0%. This is at least giving you a 2.7%, so your money's doing something for you. Same growth, but at least you're getting a yield on it. Why wouldn't you want to do that? ARK, that's what we're going to call that Tesla Innovation ETF. Invesco S&P 500 quality ETF. This is most likely following the S&P 500, which I own as well too. Technology, heavily invested. So this one's a little bit more into Johnson Johnson and MasterCard. So this one's a little bit different versus the other S&P 500 ones that fluctuated. Right? We would see Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, Google. This is a little bit different here. So we have Johnson Johnson, MasterCard. We still have Apple. Visa's in this one. Costco's in this one. Netflix, Adobe's in this one. So it's a little bit different here. And you get a higher day yield. You get a higher yield on this 30-day, 1.16% on this. On the 10-year, we get 13.81%. Check. Beautiful. And just this year alone, we've returned 28.73%. So beautiful. Check for me. It should be a check for you guys. I like this one right here. Not just because I own it, but I like this one. Which was it? This one. Okay. SPDR, which we own. 500 growth ETF. As you can guess, this follows the S&P 500. So like we were talking about before, same thing. We see our big companies here. See, this is when I'm okay with Tesla being in here, when it's at a lower percentage. Okay, I don't want Tesla being at the top 3. I really don't want it being at the top 5. I don't want Tesla being over 5%, to be honest. Just me. 30-day yield, 0.56%, but it's all right because we're probably striking 14% on this. 10-year, 14.63. Just this year alone, 30.38%. Check. SPDR. Invesco S&P 500, high dividend, low volatility ETF. I swear, they just put a bunch of words in this shit. Like, just adding words to this shit. So this is S&P 500. Obviously, this is going to be a dividend yielding, so there's probably not going to be much technology in here. Actually, not really any technology, 3.6%. So this, you're probably earning like maybe a 4 in this on dividend here. Verizon, AT&T. Some of these companies I don't know. But as you can see, you're very broadly split here. 3% is the top one, which is Altria, which I don't know. And so, yeah, the 30-day yield on this is 4.15. I'm actually going to want to look into this one. Our 10-year is 9%. Just this year alone, 25%. But, you know, you're taking a little bit of growth, but you're getting this 4.15, which is beautiful. I'm going to take a look into this one for myself. But this one gives a check here. I just want to look into some of these companies. Like, I don't know, Altria, Crown Castle. Properties, this is probably real estate here, which yeah, I'm not really a big fan of that, but I'll look into it a little bit. But so far, this one is check, green light for me. Okay, Vanguard Growth ETF. We're at the bottom 3 now. The bottom 3. All right. Heavily invested in technology. So same thing. It's very similar to the S&P here. The only difference is with this ETF, Visa's in the top 10 holdings. 30-day yield is 0.44, probably getting 14% on this. So 10-year, 15%. Check for me. I don't see no issues with this. iShares MSCI USA Quality Factor ETF. Wow. It looks similar. I wonder if this is technology. It's technology. Alright. NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, Eli. Visa, MasterCard. Okay, so this one's a little bit different. You're kind of playing, and you get a little bit of a bigger yield. So this one, they're actually throwing in Visa and MasterCard and United, Costco, and Johnson & Johnson for some dividend. A little bit of a dividend push here. But you're getting less of a percentage gain, most likely. The 30-day yields look nice. Almost a 1. And your 10 years at 13.25. Check. I like this one. I'm going to look into this one for myself. This is why it's good to, like, do this stuff. Because I kind of don't really look into all of them. So this is good for me to look into this too. Vanguard Small Cap ETF. So this is most likely small companies. And one of the reasons how you can tell if it's usually small companies, besides the name saying small cap, is the number of holdings. Right here, 1,400 holdings. So the reason why versus something, let me just show you, versus something like versus something that's heavily invested into like the S&P or something like that, number of holdings 102. The chances of one of these companies going out of business are very, 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 very low. That's why there's still a number of holdings 102. Versus when you get into small caps, they're smaller companies. They're not the big name companies, Like, look at it. Decker's Outdoor. I no idea what the fuck that is. Probably some real estate bullshit company. And it's very split up here if you didn't know either. Look at these percentages. None of them even have 1%. That's because there's so many companies. So they can't do anything about it. But the good thing, it has your back here. Personally, I stay away from small cap. That's just me personally. I prefer the larger market cap. But, if 500 companies go out of business in this, okay, that's a lot. If like 100 companies, 200 or whatever, file for Chapter 7, it's not really going to affect you that much because these companies own 0.32%. Highest is 0.5%, so it's not really going to affect you much. The 30-day yield is 1.34%, and your 10-year is 8.83%. Just the year alone, 17.97%. For me, it's going to be no. I do not like small caps. That's just me. Everybody has their own choice. But the growth on it looks great. Very healthy. Looks great to me. Obviously, COVID crash. And where's the August? Okay, so it didn't really pull back. It only dropped about $10 on the pullback. So, it's not bad. Yeah, guys, so that is the end of it. Yeah, we hit all of them. So yeah, this is the 20 most popular ETFs on Robinhood. If you have any questions about anything, leave a comment, hit me up, shoot me a DM, message me on IG. I'm fucking available every time. I'll answer you back. But these are the top 20 most popular ETFs. Yeah, guys, I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. Yeah, just take it easy, guys. All right, I will see you guys Monday.